My name is Nate Fox. I'm the game director at Sucker Punch Productions, and I'm working on a game called Infamous. First time ever, Island 2 of Empire City, which is called The Warren. It's a horrible slum, totally run down. It was filled with crime before the awful blast that set up a quarantine to Empire City, and now it's been taken over by this gang called the Dustmen, who are a bunch of angry dudes who have, as you might have guessed, got superpowers of their own. Today we're showing a new power called Precision, which allows Cole to really focus in on an enemy and slow time a little bit so that he can blast guys with a lightning bolt at a greater distance, shutting them down, which is useful when you're in a big open world game. The level that we're showing today is called the Prison, and it's this one small portion of Empire City that the cops have still kind of taken and held against the Dustman gang that controls the Warren. And they've managed to actually take the Dustman's leader, Alden, prisoner. The Dustmen are kind of raiding it in force. They've got a bunch of their foot soldiers as well as some of the heavy hitters, some of the super-powered Dustmen, who are these hulking, big, kind of trash golems that are men inside of enormous suits of various bits of metal and tubes, and they try and smash you up and throw large balls of metal and scrap at your face. The Warren is an area you go to about a third of the way into the game. It's new territory with different architecture and different ways to explore the environment. You're pretty advanced on your career towards becoming either a great hero or kind of an anti-hero. So people are starting to recognize you, and the world is kind of learning about who Cole is and what Cole's abilities are. And on top of that, the scale, the escalation of fights has gone up as well. In this prison demo, you see 15 guys all attacking you at once. And these kind of fights didn't really happen earlier on in your career, but as you might imagine, things get more intense as you go. The prison mission has a couple different levels to it, different aspects of what you do. The very first thing you do is use your powers to defend your buddy who's inside of the structure, and you're kind of pushing away these incoming trash bombs that are trying to smash up the place. And so, as you might imagine, the game kind of has these situations that require the use of superpowers in order to pass them. A big difference between Infamous and a kind of a more conventional shooter are the superpowers, which are very much like weapons in a third-person shooter, except for that they have more effects. For instance, you can push people backwards so that you can take them off balance and kick them in the head when they're down. And we have a lot of powers that are like this. And we built them so that they can be used in concert. I mean, a lot of us are big fans of superhero teams, which I'm sure a lot of people watching this have probably read a few comics, where people use their powers in concert to get better effects. And we tried to do that inside of just the hero himself, so that the player, when they use a myriad of powers in conjunction, can do these really elaborate sort of combinations, which yield really good results. I'm really excited for players to get into the Warren because I think we do a better job when they get in there of creating these enormous set pieces that involve a lot of mayhem and destruction. Once you've kind of got your feet under you and you understand how the game works, you sort of spin things 90 degrees and suddenly ask you to live inside of these much more intense, much more focused situations that have more sort of cinematic appeal. And it's nice because you get to build on what you've already learned in Island 1 and freak out in Island 2, in the Warren. As Cole goes through his journey from becoming nobody to a superhero, as you might imagine, he does kind of transform over time. He starts with a very limited set of powers which he barely knows how to use, and he grows more and more powers as he goes, becoming a master of very many powers which grow in power and complexity. One of the things that I think is really cool about our game right now is that the event that caused him to get his powers, this horrible blast which sent the city into chaos, is also created all these little charged objects in the world, which when you kind of explore, you can pick them up, and they give him the ability to house more electricity in his body. He's constantly draining electricity from the grid to keep his powers juiced up. He's in trouble. He's not going to heal as fast. He doesn't have any ammunition to dish out on other people, so it's in his best interest to turn on the power as quickly as possible. He's in a weakened state, and it kind of makes for interesting scenarios because you can go from being really tough to kind of being a little bit more defensive, and the game offers you this kind of variability of play. Look forward to Infamous in spring 2009 on the PlayStation 3.